gonna finish this bottle this weekend if it's the last thing I do. Okay, we're talking about comedy. I'm trying to be comical while talking about comedy, which is always fun. Oh, run VT. What I'm going to do now is explain the premise of this sketch before the joke is underway. And I'm aware that such prescriptive observations about a joke will cause the humour of that joke to slide towards a vanishing point. And you can't just interpret humour as though it's not supposed to be humour. So, as always, in the low bar I provided the link to the original video. If you'd care to watch the sketch beforehand, without the humour-dissolving filter of my analysis, please do. If it so happens that you don't find it funny, then you've lost nothing. But now I think I've given you sufficient occasion to pause me, so I'll proceed. In this sketch, the male human characters are representing college women. The bear represents a college man, and death by savage mauling represents sex without ongoing enthusiastic consent, now upgraded to rape. Okay, carry on, guys.
Oh, dude! There's a bear in your other room here.
What? Oh, that's just a big, angry, hungry bear.
They're depicting what happens in a house full of college women when one of them gets blackout drunk one night and wakes up with a young man she just met. And in accordance with what they learned in the enrollment, they have to follow the procedure. If that drunk woman had sex with that man, he is a rapist. And the rapist is still in the house, nursing a hangover and looking for his shoes. They've made it very clear to us in this sketch which of these characters was the one who fucked the bear.
Just pretend it's not there.
Oh, really? Yeah. It'll just go away? What are you talking about?
No, I don't think it's going anywhere, but I don't know what to do about it, so I just ignore it.
Him. He is the bear fucker. I mean rape victim.
So it's not dangerous, right?
Define dangerous. It's a bear.
You can teach a bear not to eat people with the right training. But you cannot teach every bear in the world not to eat people, no matter how much you train them all, because there will always be a small percentage of bears who are untrainably psychotic. And there will also be a certain percentage of bears who don't take kindly to being trained, and they eventually snap. Actually, I tell a lie. There is a way to be able to teach every bear in the world not to eat people. You first have to reduce the bear population. 1 million bears and it's impossible. 1,000 bears and it's unfeasible. But if we can get it down to comfortably under 100 bears left in the world, and we rigorously train them all from birth, then maybe, like sometimes, we'll be in like an armistice period in which none of those bears feel like eating any people. To remind you, I am not the one comparing a single category of human being with a family of ursine carnivore. When I'm devising humorous fables, I find it works best if everyone is an animal or no one is an animal. Because I'm an equal opportunities dehumanizer. And so was Aesop. Even Disney's doing a better job than you.
But, you know, it's not going to eat all of us. It only eats like 1 in 5.
Ding! I know where that information is coming from. Which is not to say I know the time or the place or the person, unless it's Mary Koss. But I can say which ideology is responsible for spreading the myth. I'm not going to mention it, though. I'm trying to see how easy it is to get through these videos without mentioning it.
I said only 1 in 5, so we're fine.
That's a lot, man. That means one of us is going to be eaten.
Statistically. That doesn't mean one of us. It means 1 in 5 people getting eaten.
1 in 5 college students is eaten by a bear. So why aren't you all carrying a gun? Or am I just victim blaming? I find it quite infinitely hilarious that the very same authoritarian lefties who demand guns and weapons be outlawed because of bullshit statistics will then turn around and say, by the way, you're in constant mortal danger because of bullshit statistics. Have fun with your dangerous but defenseless existence, kids. These people live in heaven, and you're trying to make it hell. And you call that liberty? Well, I guess you call it liberal. The words are only different by 2 letters, but the concepts, my God, have they drifted.
You're doing something about this, man!
Hey, what do you want me to do about it? You guys know the old saying, bears will be bears.
That's not a saying. No, it's not a saying. And men will be men is not a saying. No one ever says it, except in the context of a protracted conceit in which anyone ever does say it. But unfortunately, there are a lot of ideological language butchers out there who know no other tactic than attacking lexical idioms. And in this case, they find themselves tasked with demonizing men and their sexuality. So they scour the language, looking for any well-known sayings that men use to justify or normalize the rape of women, and they find nothing. Not a sausage. Quite a few slang words originate from the cultivated prison rape of men, but our language never codifies the rape of women by men. I mean, the rape of girls by women has been popularly codified as a good rape, but never the rape of women by men. But instead of these language butchers admitting defeat, instead of admitting that our language bears out the fact that there is nothing in our culture considered more morally heinous than the rape of women by men, instead of reporting this obvious truth, they reach out in extra-dimensional desperation for the phrase, boys will be boys. Again, no one ever says it to excuse the rape of women by men, least of all in legal situations. The mimetic phrase, boys will be boys, has only ever been used by parents to affectionately excuse the silly things that boys do. Like playing with sticks and digging up worms and trekking through the woods aimlessly for hours on end with a stuffed tiger who he thinks is a talking philosopher. And all you people are doing is associating that with rape. You seem to be trying to make it so that every time a parent is about to think, well, maybe it's okay that our sons enjoy weird and adventurous things, they stop themselves and go, oh, wait, no, we should punish them for this behavior so they don't rape. Let us cleanse our language free of these excuses. Boys will not be boys. They should have the blank, static, unimaginative personalities that we want them to have. That way they'll be sure to grow up healthy and never rape anyone. You are horrible cunts, all of you. And in case anyone's wondering why we don't have the phrase, girls will be girls, I'm pretty sure that's what bossy usually means. It's a euphemism for an inexplicably but casually forgivable asshole. A euphemism that we use inclusively for girls. And you're trying to get that banned as well. So, yeah, I guess that's an eventual attempt at equality, but my issue is the method by which you're doing it. By flushing our language and our children free of all the interesting characteristics. Not the approach I would take. I don't think we should ban the word bossy. I don't think we should associate the phrase boys will be boys with rape apologia. And I don't think we should poison young boys with Ritalin. Because then there will be no more Calvins. And certainly no more Hobbes. And I fucking love Calvin Hobbes. A lot of you have told me, in sort of comments and shit, that you wish you had a friend like me. And God, fucking damn it, I can't thank you enough for words as kind as that. But Calvin was the friend I never had. I had many Hobbeses, but no Calvin. So when I hear your kind words, I think I know what you mean. And I think we should let Calvins be Calvins. Because I don't think Calvin's a rapist. I think Calvin's a cartoonist. Anyway, let's try and climb back to the level at hand here. There's some fucking ridiculous sketch to talk about.
Born. A bear will be a bear, so...
You can't just blame the bear.
Pardon?
You can't just blame the bear.
Thrice more and another for luck, please.
You can't just blame the bear. You can't just blame the bear. You can't just blame the bear. Not when it's attacking. When it's attacking. You can't just blame the bear. Not when it's attacking.
To remind you of the premise, the male characters in this sketch are representing the women in college. The bear represents a man in college. And the mauling that's about to descend on our heroes represents rape. It stands to reason you can't blame the women, and apparently you can't blame the man either. Not while he's raping you. Again, I fully realise this is satire, and it's supposed to be funny, but the premise of a satire is like the foundation of a house. Some satires are dug firmly into the rock, and some satires are built on the top of the sand out of twigs and fast food packaging. And this satire of yours has already collapsed under its own measly weight, and you're still piling twigs onto the wet, sandy mess you're calling your current abode. The premise of your satire is that women get raped by men, and within this premise, okay, one of your straight characters just delivered the sincere line, you can't just blame the man, not when he's raping. This makes less than 0 sense. It is very obvious at this point that you have all confused yourself into a corner, and you're trying to escape by walking across the ceiling. But I think I figured out how you went wrong. I think I've located 2 of the main vectors in the downfall of this tapestry. Firstly, I mean, this sketch is indirectly implicating bears in violent crimes. That's unacceptable. So, of course, some bright soul on the creative team said, that's not cool, man. I mean, bears aren't like men. Bears are just part of nature. They're innocent. So, good point. We'll throw in this line about how you can't just blame the bear. That ought to appease all the politically correct thinkers like us. And then someone else on the team said, wait, what was the premise of our satire again? Isn't the bear supposed to be a rapist? And that's where the second vector intersects with the first. Remember, we're dealing with an ideology that doesn't see individuals. It just sees collective, one-way agency. When a woman is raped, all womankind is raped. And when a man rapes, all men are rapists. When a woman rapes a man, error, discard, does not compute. So anyway, you can't just advise a woman to defend herself, because that's misogyny against all women. And you can't blame a man for raping. You have to blame all men for rape culture. I mean, the brain-damaged psychopaths who are actually doing the raping? Hell no! Set them free! They didn't do anything wrong! What we need to do is blame each other. The 5 men in this sketch, and all the other men involved in its creation, we all need to point the finger at each other and curtail each other's free speech and impose ever more impossible moral curfews on each other until the world is free of rape culture. As defined by academic ideologues. And I know I'm fucking spurging like a motherfucker on this one line, but this is what can happen when you go this badly wrong. There is this much spurg in your shit, and more. Carry on.
20% of the people who come here.
20%? I said 1 in 5.
Yes, that's 20%.
No, it isn't. It's 1 in 5, you math nerd. Let's pile on this guy.
I don't know what that was, because I've never heard anyone say it. But it's... I mean, it's obvious that the guy on the right, on the couch, is the bad guy. The guy who fucked the bear, i.e. the woman who is the rape victim, is the bad guy. Again, brilliant satire, guys. I'm really glad this structure of yours doesn't have the consistency of wet hummus. And what I think they're trying to say in that section is... if someone in your party suggests that investigating the statistics might be a good idea, like maybe just double-checking that it's actually true that 1 in 5 women is sexually assaulted, and lurdy-dur who the fuck knows for men, before you go around crippling women's emotional constitutions with this crap. If someone in your party suggests such a thing, that statistics are worth investigating, then he is most probably just talking shit, dicking around with numbers and words that he doesn't understand, and trying to deflect the blame onto other people. And of course, we never do that! When someone comes to me with a religious claim, I often ask, where did you read that? And they don't know. They're like, oh, somewhere in the Bible? They don't fucking know. They use their scripture as a moral weapon against freedom, and they haven't even fucking read it. They just believe. And when someone comes to me with the 1 in 5 claim, I often ask, where did you read that? And they don't fucking know. Etc.
Dude, you gotta get rid of this thing. Or at least warn us that there is a bear in the other room, man. We gotta look out for each other. What are you doing?
Don't forget the premise. They're saying women have to look out for each other. Men are represented by the bear in the other room. And he doesn't have to look out for himself. He just needs to not rape. Oh, but don't blame the bear. Just blame the bear in this premise because he represents all men. And women have to look out for each other by using strict social vigilance. That means if one of you brings a man into the house, you need to remind us all that he's a rapist, and 1 in 5 of us is going to get raped tonight.
Hey, what happens between you guys and the bear is none of my business.
Wait, how is this none of your business, man? 1 in 5 people are gonna get attacked by this bear!
Called it. Is this a comedy sketch or a horror sketch? You haven't figured it out, have you? It's like emulsion. Like you're trying to create the perfect mixture of oil and water. When you force tragedy and comedy together, sometimes you do get epic and masterful tragicomedy. Nice salad fingers. No. But sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and you just get ugly, schlocky propaganda, like this mess here. It all depends on whether your intent is actually to entertain people, or actually to scare people.
Guys, you're overreacting. The bear's not going to eat all of us. It'll be less than a quarter of us.
None of us should die!
Yes, no women should ever be raped. And no men should ever be killed by bears. Now, might I be so bold as to pose this question? Do you know how many bears are killed by men? What am I asking you? Remember the premise.
And it affects us all, Jake. 1 in 5. How can you ignore something so important? How can I protect your pride? 1 in 5, 1 in 5.
Yeah, you're just hammering it home now. All it is a fucking mantra at this point. Every time you chant 1 in 5, 1 in 5, 1 in 5, all I hear is fucking 1 Corinthians 7, 1 Corinthians 7, 1 Corinthians 7. You haven't bothered fucking reading it, mate. You're in a fucking trance because of the bullshit being spewed at expensive lecterns by mysteriously berobed figureheads, and you need to snap the fuck out of it one day. Oh no, the bear escaped from the room in which you locked it after one of you raped it. But the bear is bigger than you, and stronger than you, and hairier than you. Therefore, it must be the bad guy. Unless it was a female bear, in which case it was just acting in self-defense. Yeah, if you can't manage to stay within the boundaries of this premise, neither can I. Because, as I said, this premise of yours has the consistency of a blob of cold onion gravy on a recycled paper plate in a permanently quantum-locked state with a matrix of helium atoms in the center of the sun. You care more about bears than about men. This satire itself is evidence of this. I'm guessing you understand that you cannot blame all bears for something that one bear did. You cannot even blame all bears for things that some bears do. But what we absolutely must do is blame all men for any bad thing that any one man does. And until there is not a single man left on this planet who ever does anything that we deem bad, until that day, we must, as men, endeavour to work towards that goal by treating each other worse than we treat bears.
The majority is fine, and I don't want to deal with this problem!
The solution to this problem is quite obviously to shoot the bear. There you have it. If there is a man in your house, you should shoot him. And if anyone in your party says, maybe don't shoot it, maybe there's a solution other than #KillAllBears, then shoot him too. I mean, needless to say, if you see a woman in your house, then she should shoot you. Because you're a fucking bear. You have not shown us how you came by those terms, or what the corresponding statistics are for males in a control test. You're supposed to be a social science, not a social religion. But if you truly believe this statement accurately reflects reality, then pray tell, what is your solution? Yes, come hither and help us line the pockets of cult leaders calling themselves non-profit organisations, who do nothing but stoke the fires of gender apartheid. Best comedy sketch ever. Good. So bye. Fuck. So